Hello guys, and welcome to the first video on this channel. In this video we are going to create a Flask Heroku API. So as you can see here, I created an extra README file in the repository for this video, and I'm sticking to this plan so that if any of you want to build such an API, easily can do it using this README. So first of all, you need these three requirements. The first requirement, Python, is very important to install and run Flask, and for me it's the version for Mac OS. And after downloading Python, we go on with the next requirement, Git. Git will allow us to communicate with our API via the command line interface of Heroku. The last requirement we need is brew. Brew is for the installation of Heroku. This requirement, as already mentioned here, installs the stuff you need that Apple or Linux systems didn't. Okay, now let's copy this line and paste it into your command line. I already did this, so I do not have to install it. Now, after setting up all our requirements, we can start creating our API. Therefore, we go into our terminal and move into the directory we want to create our API. After that, we create a new folder. In my case, I would say we name it API, simply API. And then we move into this folder. The next step we should do is to create a virtual environment for Onyx based operating system, as you can see here. So for Linux or Mac, you can easily do it with these few commands, and for Windows you should follow the commands below. So now let's go on and create our virtual environment for Mac OS. Herefore we type python 3 -m virtual environment and virtual environment. The following step is to activate our virtual environment with source virtual environment bin and activate. After creating our environment, we need to install Flask and python.environment. For this, you can easily copy the next line and paste it into your command line. After hitting enter, everything gets installed, and in my case I need to upgrade pip. So let's do this really quick and go on with the next step. Now we need to create a file named api.py. To do this, I write touch api.py in my command line, but you can also create this file directly in your code editor. So let's go into our main file, the api.py file, and write from Flask import Flask. And in the next step we need to create our app. For this we write app equals Flask in brackets __name __. And then we need to set a root for our data, and therefore we type @app.root in brackets /data, and in the next line we create a function named getData. Therefore we don't need any arguments, but we pass in a return, and in this return we write a JSON data with the value. This is the data of your API. After this, we go on with creating a file named .flask environment, and this file is really important for our Flask app, and this is also the reason why we needed to install python.environment, that we can run our .flask environment file. So just copy these 2 lines of code, create a new file named .flask environment and paste it in. Another very important point which I have to mention is that the second line in this Flask environment file is only needed if you are in the development section. If you are in production, you can just delete it. After we've done all these things, we are finished and can run our project for the first time. Herefore we need this command Flask Run, and the only thing you have to do, just type it into your terminal and hit enter. Okay, there I got an unexpected error, but I think I know what I've done wrong. So here we need to type a capital F, and now we test it and everything works perfect. To visit your data now, you have to copy this URL and paste it into the search bar. The reason why we got a not found error is because we have to type data behind our URL, and now you can see that we can easily access the data of our API. To stop our local host, we just have to type Ctrl+C, which you can also see here. And now, after we finished everything, we can deploy our API to Heroku. First of all, we need to install the command line interface of Heroku. Therefore, you need to copy this line and paste it into your terminal. After a few seconds, you will see that everything works perfect, but in my case I got an error because I already installed Heroku. Then we need to install Unicorn. For this, do the exact same thing, copy and paste it into your terminal and hit enter. As you can see, I already installed Unicorn, so I got an error. To deploy our app, we need all the requirements, and this can be done automatically with this command. Now we can see that all the requirements we need to deploy our app are written down here in this file. To say our API, which file we want to deploy as our main file, we need to create a proc file which communicates with our API. After that, we need to go to the Heroku page and create an account. I'm already logged in, and then we have to create a new app. We do this by clicking on the button labeled New at the top right. The next thing now we have to do is to create a new app by clicking the button. Then we have to choose a name and a region. I prefer the name JavaScript Coding Test API. And as a region, I've chosen European because I live in Germany. So, after creating our app, we have the option to log in via Heroku Git or via GitHub. But for this demonstration, we choose to log in with the Heroku Git because for beginners it's a little bit easier. If we go back to our README file, you can see that we've already made step 5, and now we move on with the next step to log in into our Heroku. To do this, just simply go into your terminal, type in Heroku login and click any key on your keyboard to move on. Then just click the button Login on this page and you're logged in your terminal. After this, we need to create a new Git repository in our local project to publish our API. Therefore, we only need to type in git init in our terminal and we've created a Git repository. Then we need to remote our project, and for this we just copy that line, paste it into our terminal and hit enter. Okay, now everything worked perfect. And the only thing we have to do now is to push everything to our Heroku. For this we have to type into our terminal git add dot, and to commit everything we need to type in the command git commit -am and adding a message we want to add. For me it's JavaScript coding test API. And after that, we have to type in git push Heroku master. It seems like everything worked fine so far. Yeah, and now we can visit our API under the URL JavaScript coding test API.heroku.com. Now if we type in our URL, you can see that there is our JSON data. So thank you for watching this video, and if you're interested in learning more about coding, make sure to follow my Instagram JavaScript_coding.